What's up, guys? It is episode 8 of my Life After Prep series, and this week has been good and it's also been freaking terrible. It was so good to be back in Florida and just feel like I'm getting some routine back, my normal schedule, my normal, day-to-day routine, get up, have a coffee, go to the gym, all that kind of stuff. It was also my birthday, so I had that to look forward to. Which that was on Saturday. So I got back from Australia on Monday, and so basically a whole day kind of is wiped out due to travel. But the good thing was I did jump up and get up pretty early on Monday morning before I flew out at I got up at 6, not really that early, just to get a full body workout in at the hotel gym that I was staying at. And I got down there and there's an entire team of, I don't know, I'm going to say soccer or some kind of, those sports that you're no, I'm not really sure what you do, but you guys look semi-athletic and fit. It was just a shit show trying to find a bit of equipment to get a training session done, but got it in, did a little bit of a walk as well, and then got on the plane for 16 and a half hours or whatever it was. And then, got back, and then the next day I'm pretty sure I took a rest day. Your body feels awful when you've been sitting for that long. So yeah, took a rest day for travel, and then kind of picked up where I left off with regards to training. This week I kind of wanted to share a little bit more about the psychology that really comes into play when we are reverse dieting. And for any of those for any of you that have tried a reverse diet before, there is a point in which everybody, and this goes for guys and girls, everybody starts to really lack the confidence, lack the drive, really start to struggle mentally with the physical changes that can often take place as you're starting to increase calories. So I think the most important thing is to remember kind of why you started the reverse diet in the first place. And I have to check myself all the time. So I guess the point is to help restore or recover your metabolism to its utmost potential. So we're trying to drive positive metabolic adaptations by way of small calorie increases to help kind of get your metabolism to kind of move and adapt to higher intakes, but with minimal changes on the scales. So I have been in just this la-la land for the last few months. It's really tough. It's been really hard to get momentum with the holidays, and I'm sure most people feel like that too. And then, we had 1 or 2 weeks back of kind of normal momentum, and then it's oh, now you're going to fly to the other side of the world and just keep on keeping on. So, it presents lots of challenges if you are trying to conservatively, reintroduce calories when you're constantly bombarded with events, expos, travel, you're trying to entertain and, enjoy yourself and the company. There's a lot of pressure, I guess, to remain compliant. So that being said, then I had my birthday last week, and it's oh God, can I just take a breath, please? So I have been able to get my calories back up to about 1900 just in the last couple of weeks. I've been just doing really small increases if you've been following me along. And it has resulted in a little bit of weight regain, but here's the problem. Obviously, we have a set amount of calories that will help you to maintain a certain body weight. However, it's not a fixed number, and in fact, I've actually just put up a video about maintenance calories and what to do if you overindulge and eat outside those calories, and not just in a positive way, but what happens if you undereat. Is there an immediate response to the metabolism then going down? So do go and check out that video. I talk all about what to do if you screw up your calories, how will that actually affect your weight, and what to do to kind of make up some of that deficit or you exceeding those calories. This weekend I had my birthday, and I just really wanted to go out and enjoy having a nice dinner. We had a beautiful day with the kids. We went to breakfast in the morning with Robert and Liv and Lane. We took them out for waffles because the kids love waffles. So we did that. I do too. Secret exposed. Definitely love waffles. So does Lane. So we did that, and then it was a little bit cool on Saturday, and we wanted to take them to the beach, but it was definitely not swimming weather. But we went down anyway and just kind of played on the beach, built some sandcastles, did that thing. And I was still really jet lagged, so I think pretty sure I slept for the first 20 minutes when we got there, and Lane held the kids' attention, which was nice. And then we went and played mini golf, which was super fun. And it turns out Livia and I are equally terrible at mini golf. I think both of us just kind of want to like racket Ralph and just bash the ball really hard. So it was really funny, and we had a lot of fun trying to teach her to hit the ball and not just want to place it right at the edge. She does a pretty good job. She got like on par for most of the little courses, but she really wanted to just sit the ball like right next to the hole and just like push it in with her hand. So yeah, we had a really good day, and then went out for dinner with some friends of ours. So I'm one of these people that sets the bar pretty high when I have a goal. And so one of my goals was to maintain my body weight at about 64 kilos. So to do that, it has required an almighty amount of effort with this reverse diet, and it really couldn't have been at a worse time. Although, is there ever a really good time? I don't know. I have really seen my weight kind of increasing quite readily over the last few weeks, and to add to that, we've had so many things happening with work, and I think I tend to push myself, and then all of a sudden just break and have a bit of a, I guess burnout is probably what the clinical diagnosis would be, and I just lose it. And I think this week has been a really good week for me to kind of look back and reflect upon and learn from some of the kind of mistakes that I have made. I definitely make a bunch of mistakes. I really try to be mindful of my actions, but everybody makes mistakes. So this week I probably overloaded myself a little bit too much with work tasks. So having just gotten back from US, there was a bunch of stuff that I needed to get organised. We're also having a handover of my glute factory. So Nina, who was previously going to be my business partner with my glute factory, she's actually stepped down. So I've had to take back over that company and just rearrange all the business stuff. You know what it's like with the back end of a business. You've got contracts, you've got bank accounts, you have business registrations. So we had to kind of do a bit of a handover, and that was just an extra task that I don't normally fit in my day. So I had to do that, and then I really wanted to make sure that I got some time with the kids, and I knew I had some vlogging and stuff that I wanted to do on Sundays. So my one of my staff, Teresa, and I we're going to go down to Sarasota, do some vlogging. We were going to check out the donut place again and film that, but I also knew that I would have the kids and the sitter to organise. So I think I've kind of put a little bit of extra pressure on myself this week, and I really don't handle extra stress very well. And usually if I am very stressed out, I think something that I'm really trying to work on improving is not using food as a coping tool. And this week with my birthday, I think I was really good up until that point. One of the triggers for me is like masses of food. If there is like a bunch of stuff where I can graze, I really have a hard time moderating. So I kind of made sure that if we were going to go out for dinner, I just made sensible choices, and I said to Lane, let's not get a cake this year, let's do like little cupcakes or something. So we did that, and it was really good. So I definitely went over my targets on Saturday, but I kind of allowed for that. I said to myself earlier in the week, all right, well, it doesn't matter if you don't hit all of your carb and fat targets, because you're probably going to make up for it on Saturday if you go out, and you'll probably see that in my spreadsheet. So we did that, but then on Sunday we also had a birthday cake as well, which was actually enormous. It was like the biggest cake ever. So throughout the day, we'd already been down to get some donuts, so it had like really high calorie food. And then I had like 2 slices or even more of this cake, and it's so calorie dense. So I think I hit like 400 grams of carbs, which is a lot for me. And it really threw me way outside my maintenance calories. And boy, like it was almost immediate. I could feel like my legs getting all puffy just from like that, you know, initial glycogen storage, water coming in. And then, you know, I was definitely in a surplus. So just that acute response is, you know, there's some fat regain. Of course, when I get back to normal eating, it will probably start to disappear, but there's always a bit of a lag time. So that's what the video that I talk about, which I posted a couple of days ago on my YouTube channel, kind of explains, like what happens if you exceed your targets, what's a normal response in that situation, and how to kind of rectify it. So I had a really hard day, like mentally. I think on Sunday evening I was a little bit catatonic. And then on Monday, I was like, just fucking get on the scales. Don't let this define you, and just see where you're at so that you've got a starting point so that we can kind of see that weight go down. And of course it will over the course of the week. So yeah, I think just making sure that I go back and reflect on some of those things. Where did I slip up? What was the mistake that I made? And I'm pretty sure just trying not to overload myself is really something that I'm going to have to be more mindful of. And if I know I'm going to be really overburdened with different stuff throughout the week, make sure that you are, for me, extra careful with not having, you know, a bunch of junk food just sitting around, that it's really accessible. If it was just a normal week with less stresses, then it probably would have been fine, because I wouldn't have felt, you know, this overwhelming feeling of, oh shit, I've got so much stuff to do. And then it's like, you know, how do I feel better? I eat. And then that's like, you know, a good feeling. Eating makes you feel good. It tastes good. It's nice. So other people resort to alcohol. I'm glad I don't do that. But everybody has different coping strategies. And that's something that I've really had to work on over the last few years, you know, to not let that be my stress management tool. So yeah, lesson learned this week, don't overburden yourself, and coupled with that, you know, make sure that if you are going to have sweets and things around, that it is portion controlled and it's not just easily accessible. So yeah, that's my tip or strategy for you guys. If you have a tendency to manage your stress and anxiety by eating, then doing your utmost to put yourself in a situation that isn't going to make you fail. So yeah, let's go and have a look at my data for the week. I will show you kind of what's been happening with my intakes, and I'll give you some feedback about, you know, how my macros were actually good and how they might also be really bad in some days, and what I will do to kind of get around that. Okay, so here is my info for this past week, which was Monday, the 2nd of March through to Sunday. And this day here that I'm highlighting is my birthday day. So I was traveling on Monday, Tuesday, I guess, depending on which part of the world you want to be in. So in the USA, we are actually about a day behind Australia. So I kind of left on Monday and got home on Monday too, even though it was basically a full day of traveling. So you can see there my steps were actually quite high on this particular day, because I was running between airports and moving around a whole bunch. And I did wear my watch on the flight. And when they are long trips like that, so like 12 hours plus, I do try to get up and walk around a little bit, and I set myself little targets for like every few hours. I'll just get up and go and do like 20 squats and some calf raises just to get some circulation happening, because sitting down for that long, like I really do start to feel it in my like limbs, and also my circulation just turns to crap. So yeah, rather than getting like a lot of pulling and then like DOMs almost from the workout that I did before, I like to keep active on those flights. So yeah, I actually quite a few steps on that particular day too. So that's what my weight was before I flew out of Australia. So I've gone up a couple of kilos since I left, which, I mean, I think that given the fact that I was away for so long, I guess I can't complain at a 2 kilo increase, but at the same time, it's just past where I'm comfortable. And my goal, as I've said many times, is to sit around 64 in my off season and to be able to maintain that. But it's obviously going to require a bit of work. So I got home, I was a little bit up, not surprisingly, just having been a little bit more sedentary and no training on one of those days. So wasn't too bad, hit my target. So actually I was a little low on the plane, to be honest, on those 2 days. And then what's happened here? When I got back, I jumped in, and rather than doing a hard leg session or something like that, I chose to do my easier upper body session. And I also threw in some HIIT cardio on that day as well, because it is an easier session. I'm not pushing myself quite as hard as I used to with my upper, just because I don't really want any more hypertrophy. In fact, I'm trying to shrink my back, so I'm not doing any wide grip movements anymore, just kind of close grip movements and just focusing on my shoulders and my arms. So despite the fact that I was pretty compliant on the Wednesday that I got back, the next day I weighed in a little bit heavier again. It's not significant, but the reason for that was I ate really late on Wednesday evening, and that absolutely will affect your weigh-in the next day. If you're putting all of that mass that you're, at the tail end of the day, and you haven't had time to go to the bathroom or to move around and to digest, it's very normal to have a higher weigh-in. And the other thing was I also had a lot of fiber. So of this 156 grams of carbs that I ate, a greater amount was fiber than what I had been consuming while I was away. So that was me really going to town on poke bowls, and I've been trying some new like Japanese savory pancakes. So yeah, it was like, I think Lane weighed himself before and after I made him this meal, and he said it was like, I don't know, almost a kilo, or no, a pound heavier. So it was dense. These are like huge, big Japanese pancakes that are like made with cabbage, purple cabbage, and a bunch of veggies in there, and they're kind of like mixed together with flour and egg, and then you kind of grill it, and then there's all these good sauces and stuff you put on the top, which is also very high in sodium, consequently. So yeah, I weighed in a little heavier even though I actually hit my target. So that's always a bit of a mind fuck. So I kind of just had to remind myself, hey, you just ate late and you ate a bunch of fiber at the end of the day, so don't expect it if your weigh-in's a little heavy in the morning. So by Saturday and Sunday, you can see here I've done a terrible job at hitting my protein targets. The food selections, I guess, on these 2 days, since I was eating out and traveling, we were down in Sarasota all day on Sunday, and on Saturday we traveled to the beach, and just accessing quality protein was always a little bit harder, and I didn't take anything with me. So in addition to exceeding my targets here on Saturday and Sunday quite significantly, I'm at 3,600 calories on this day, and that was all thanks to me eating some of this delicious, I might add, carrot cake. I'll show you the macro entry for that. I think it was like 22 grams of fat for a slice, and I had like 2.5. So yeah, I really did myself over on that, just because they are so energy dense. And some of this carbohydrate here on Saturday is actually me accounting for 3 cocktails that I had too. So rather than logging it as alcohol, because your tracking apps generally don't offer that as an option, I've taken the total calorie value of those cocktails and divided it by 4, so that I can substitute some of that for carbohydrate. The alcohol obviously has an energy value. I chose to log it as a carb instead. So that's not necessarily all food, which is why my fiber target is still quite pretty normal for what I have been eating whilst traveling and being on holiday. So yeah, Sunday was awful. I think I had, with a donut alone that I had, was about 600 calories. And then just eating some extra cake afterwards, not good. And you can see what happened to my weight just with that one high day at 21. I went up to 67.5. And then moving into this new week, which I'll talk about on my next update, you can see here my weight has blown out like crazy. And not to mention, it was really high in carb. Look at my sodium intakes here on Saturday and Sunday. 4,500 and 4,100 is really high for me. And that is part and parcel with eating more Japanese food, soy-based products, and just the amount of fluid, glycogen, sodium and water. I honestly felt like I was carrying around sandbags in my legs on Sunday and Monday. It was just not comfortable. So this is not something that I would want to do all the time, just because I really felt it. So yeah, my compliance this week was not that great. I was at 9% above what my targets were. So it's no surprises that my weight went up. So yeah, I am actually going to get pretty aggressive with my macros this week to get some of that off. Now, in fairness, some of that is absolutely going to be initial response to increases in carbs with added muscle glycogen, added water weight. As you store more glycogen, you're also going to have, due to osmosis, more water moving into the cell. And of course, that high sodium. So some of that will come off pretty quickly. You can already see after 2 days of getting onto these lower targets, my weight's dropped back down 1.5 kilos already. But this week I'm going hard, and there is a reason for that. So I am going to be doing a photo shoot, I think, with Riderwear in about 5 weeks' time. And I want to be back at my comfortable weight, which is 64. So that, based on the starting week, my weight at the start of the week, that's 4.7 kilos I'd need to lose. So if you divide, divide that by 5 weeks, if we average that out, it works out to be about 0.8 kilos per week, or 800 grams a week. That's 1.2% of my body weight every week, which is pretty damn aggressive. So I do have to be a little bit more mindful if I want to get that weight back off. And then hopefully from there, I can again proceed back to what would be my normal maintenance calories. So there's still a little bit of restriction happening at the moment just to kind of facilitate some of my goals. It's not ideal. Normally for a reverse, I would just be going exponentially up. But as I said, I've had so many things kind of interrupt this reverse and make it much harder and more difficult than I could have foreseen. So that is life. My goal isn't to diet, but it's certainly, just to be mindful and take this reverse as slowly as I need to facilitate my goals. So yeah, I think that's all. Enough boring talk, huh? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, if you want to check out that video about maintenance calories and what to do when you screw up and how to work out what is going to require you to get back to your previous weight, go and check out that video. If you do want to learn a little bit more about the Reverse Diet Guide, then absolutely go and check out our books. They're available at the BioLane store. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a question below and I will do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching.